Do you know Kim's video? Excuse me?
A lot of things used to be here and they're gone.
Nobody rents videos anymore. Do you know Kim's video?
I do.
Were you a customer?
I was.
And how was it?
Wow. I'm stepping into the gold mine of cool.
And they had things that didn't exist, that never had come out. I miss it so much.
We were actively cultivating rare films.
We would watch these guys in suits clear out rows and rows of VHS tapes. About a week or so later, Mr. Kim would come into the store and they would replenish the entire row with all new bootlegs.
Mr. Kim issued a public announcement.
앞으로의 그 미디어의 그 포맷의 형태는 한 포맷에 치우치지를 않고 컴퓨터 산업과.
So let me promise to digitize the entire collection.
How could anybody think sending this entire thing to another country made more sense than NYU?
I don't speak English.
Had no one else shared that with you? That's really weird. It's the thing. It's the promise.
We knew we'd never see it again. Probably was gonna just disappear.
Where are we going?
I don't know.
I didn't know what we were getting into.
This is where people go to get murdered.
Don't forget. Okay, they only...
It seemed like we could do something beautiful with this beautiful collection, and we didn't. I didn't really know who we were working with.
I am the local chief police.
We said film knowledge matters more than ownership over movies.
It was a fact.
There was a part of me that felt like, is this for real?
I turned to fiction movies to learn how to execute a heist.
La mafia a Salemi non esiste.
So you're going to chat with us about the other movie, is that right?
Yes, indeed. And I was just thinking back to when we talked last time, which was 13 years ago, just kind of it feels like moments ago. But it was for obviously Girl Model. And I don't think I had even quite started doing this podcast. I mean, at that time it was like internet radio anyway. When I first started it, it might have been right around that time, but I was probably interviewing you guys. Was Girl Model at Tribeca? Do you remember?
Telluride.
No,
not
Girl
Telluride. Toronto.
It was at Toronto.
And Girl
Did it go to
Model was at
Tribeca?
Tribeca too.
No, I don't think
No,
it
it
did.
didn't? I don't know. I
No,
don't
somewhere in New York City, we did you guys, I just remember sitting and meeting up with you guys somewhere. And we did it was a transcripted interview for somewhere. I don't know if it was like POV or Tribeca's film. I don't know.
Maybe it was part of the POV because they did some nice press.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I was writing for different.
Too.
Oh,
Tom
yeah.
Powers.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, was it at Docomoisie? No, it hadn't started yet. No.
Stranger in Fiction, you know how Tom.
Oh, yeah. That could be too. So we'll have to look back in the archives and figure it out. And anyway, well, this film is about archives, so it seems appropriate. But welcome. I'm glad to finally get you guys on here for this. This is fantastic. I just did. I don't know if you guys were aware of that Veselka documentary that just came out.
What's it about?
Veselka, the restaurant.
No, I haven't come across that one.
Well, you're busy. But it just opened, and it was like really great project. I mean, a Ukrainian restaurant, and the guy that made the film started making this film about the restaurant, and then all of a sudden the war starts. And I only bring it up because after it was a joy to talk to the guys that the family members that have been running that restaurant. It's like 2 generations of this family, and the filmmaker, and it felt like such a great New York City film to dwell on, and people really responded to it. And then within days, it seems like all of a sudden I just saw that you guys had made this film, and I was so excited that there's yet another institution, East Village Institution. And I had read a Village Voice article years ago about that Mr. Kim had I guess is the word sold the archive or
Donated.
no,
He donated it.
relocated the archive to the Sicilian town, and it was there. But that's where for me, the trail ended. You know, I had no idea of the neglect, that there was neglect, that it was kind of a part of the money that these I don't call it a municipality, but the people that ran the town had received money to archive, to house this collection, to make it available, to take care of it, et cetera, but neglected to do it. So that's all I'll say. I want you guys to kind of hop in and kind of connect the dots for me from that's the part of the story to the film. And it was I can also just say to those out there, it's such a kind of a mystery story, and there's a lot of humor as well in there, but that it is really a thoroughly enjoyable journey you go on during the documentary. So I want to make sure people know that.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. So you're talking about what happened after that article.
Yeah,
is we had the idea that I would just go rent a movie, and so I went to Salemi to show my Kim's Video membership card, and
well, even say that part. So if you're a member of Kim's Video, right, the idea was that you just hop on a plane, go to Sicily, and be able to use your membership, and so what was the idea, that you would watch it there?
well, the original idea was Ashley's idea, and that was
Yeah.
shortly after the donation by Mr. Kim left and went to Salemi. That was in January 2009. I think it arrived in February 2009. Ashley contacted the municipality because they were selling homes for €1. And so her idea back then was, let's buy a home for €1, live there next to Kim's Video, and just rent movies for free every day. Because one of the conditions of the contract of the donation is that former members of Kim's Video are allowed to rent movies for free. And so we contacted Mr. Kim, no response. 10 years later, this is when we decided to make the movie, the documentary, Kim's Video.
We were also working on Girl Motto, which is the last time we left off with you. So it was like we were in the midst of a whole nother story that just, it would have been too much, for two people. So
yeah, because we didn't find out the store was closing until October, I believe, of 2008. And we were in Siberia at that time. It may have been November.
Wow. So the part about buying a home for $1, go back to that.
So it was actually Scarby's initiative. It's a big thing now in all of Italy. And he started it, Scarby started it, which was that there was a big earthquake in the 70s or 60s? 60s in Sicily. And in order to revitalize the town, Scarby thought, let's make these houses for €1. The obligation of the buyer is that you have to fix up the house, and you have to use local people to fix up that house. So yeah, I had contacted this estate agent. I think he actually was British, and he was very eager to sell a €1 home. Frankly, at this point, I'm glad we didn't, because I think that would have been a whole nother, maybe we would have made a film on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. but it's something that existed in Salemi. It started in Salemi, and now if you Google that, it's all over Italy. They're using that as to attract people to small towns, because the small towns are really suffering. So
all right, well, that aside, so Dave, you're the narrator on the film, right?
The reluctant narrator, I am.
The reluctant narrator. Ever the reluctant. So you did go out there with the idea, though, you're going to investigate as a filmmaker journalist.
Well, it was never really an investigation. It was more of a curiosity, I mean, I had been haunted by the disappearance of Kim's Video for years, and I wouldn't say I suffered from it, but it's something, as Ashley mentioned, we couldn't let go. And I'm bypassing a lot of the story just to condense it, but what happened is that we
Too
received
much.
an email. We received an email one day about Kim's video about 10 years after it had left. Is that right? 10 years?
We were living in Canterbury, England. David was teaching. I just given birth, and to our second, and basically we got this email. There was a festival in Margate, which is the next town over, with the Turner Museum that's there. And it was an art festival, and there was a presentation from an Italian woman named Franca, and she was explaining what happened to Kim's. And we were like, I saw the email. I said, David, pack up the baby stuff. We're going to this presentation. And he actually had seen it and deleted it because he thought it was
I thought it was a scam.
And we went, and it was like, I mean, the hair on both of our arms was going up straight, and it just was like seeing a ghost come back, you know? So
a few weeks later, I was on a plane from London to Sicily with the dumb phone and tried to track down the collection, tried to find it. And then what you see in the movie is the eventual discovery on my behalf of the collection. And then, as you mentioned earlier, we're not going to explain what happened, but it set in motion the entire premise for the rest of the story.
But you can talk a little bit about the first time you went into the archive room, and what that experience was like when you saw the shape of quite a bit of the videos, right? And we should also mention that I mean, what Mr. Kim, for those who don't know Mr. Kim's out there, this is a guy who was a former dry cleaner owner, like a dry cleaning store owner, who started renting out some videos out of this shop, right? And then it was so met with such um, enthusiasm and eagerness, and that he ended up opening a video shop, which turned into this mecca, this incredible store, which had thousands of these titles of rare and esoteric films that you couldn't find anywhere. So this collection really was unique and one of a kind. I mean, well, that's what unique means. But yeah, so right, and you go, and then so it's moved all this stuff. When he closes down, he agrees to send his entire library of videos out to this small Sicilian town. They're housing it, and it's sitting there in all shapes and forms. I mean, it's in boxes, it's on shelves, it's exposed to all sorts of
moisture
and it's anything. I mean, these things have to be stored in a very specific way in order to survive, right?
You're correct. It's a very good description.
Also, there was rat poison because at one point there was a rat problem, so they shot off a bunch of. So I don't know if you remember, but David's finger glides across this sort of crusty thing on one of the VHS covers, and that was all the poison that had fallen on the VHS covers.
Yeah,
it was a rat bomb, is what it was called. We didn't know it. I didn't know it at the time. I mean, it was only afterwards, after speaking to the two volunteers of the collection, they explained to us what happened.
Well, more, some cynical people might say, what was Mr. Kim thinking? I mean, Sicily, these are, wonderful people, but very scrappy, and will do what they kind of have to do to, I mean, and there's a hit. I don't want to, I'm not saying this is a fact, but there are, people say there's corruption and this and that. So I don't know if Mr. Kim had done all of his due diligence. And you could certainly see, as you do eventually find Mr. Kim, and we won't go much past that point in terms of the story, but that, he has a lot of regret he walks around with for that decision.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that the interesting thing going on this journey with Mr. Kim and the real access that he allowed us was that at the start, I think he was just what's sort of in the mentality of what's done is done.
Mm-hmm.
A donation is a donation, even though he carried disappointment.
Yeah.
But then by the end of it, he really was willing to admit, man, I made a I made a bad choice. I made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
And to see that transformation is, I think, really moving because it's so honest. It's hard to admit when you make a bad choice, you know, especially something you'd done so long ago, that you want to just move on from. So there's that. And I think, you know, in regards to your question, Mr. Kim, you know, he's all about cross-cultural connections. You know, he's an immigrant, South Korean immigrant, and he was in the Lower East Side and he was mixing with many other cultures that were in the Lower East Side. And that was something that really got him excited. So his hope was that if it gets to this small town in Sicily, that it creates an industry and excitement and curiosity and creativity there. And unfortunately, it just didn't. It didn't land, you know, for many reasons. I mean, I think the major reason is a lot of the films are either in English or subtitled in English, and they speak Italian. There was a small Italian section, but you know, the majority was geared for an Anglophone audience. So, you know, and then there's this,
Yeah.
that, and the other problem that comes with it, like you said. So I think that it was him dreaming big and then this dream against reality.
Well, supposedly, fingers crossed, Mr. Kim is supposed to come on tomorrow. We'll see how that goes.
Oh, great.
I
Yeah.
like that. Maybe, you know, who knows? There's a mystery there. Will it actually work out? He's such a what's the word? You know, he's ephemeral. He's you know, but although he is definitely a collaborator in your documentary, which is called Kim's Video, right?
Yeah.
Right. He is a collaborator. He's right there. He comes out of the, you know, he sort of steps out of the fog and right into high contrast video there. It was great to see him, and and there are other friends of the of Filmwax on there too, which is nice. You know, Sean Price Williams, former employee, former clerk, right? Who has a new film out. He's got let's see, Alex Ross Perry, Robert Greene. Who else am I missing? A couple of other
David, what's his last name that did
There's Eric Hines.
Eric Hines, but then David,
David Wayne.
David Wayne. Unfortunately, there's one woman who used to work at
Yeah.
in Criterion's writing department. Gosh, I can't remember her name right now. I always want to call her Allison. It's not that. Poof.
Well, she's in the credits.
She's in the credits. Unfortunately, she got laid off during the whole layoff thing that happened at Criterion. But I think she might she may be in upstate New York as well.
We welcome any Criterion former Criterion employees up here. We'll set them up. There's a lot of great stuff going on up here. A lot of creative people.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It did me some good. Yeah.
David Wayne, that's who I was thinking. He did a whole series set inside of Kim's Video. What was the name of that thing that
What was a Netflix show?
it was a Netflix show, yeah, that he had like a whole episode set in
I think it was what's it called? Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later.
Oh, sure.
And it opened with
that was
shot of the exterior of Kim's Video with the crazy clerk, you know, that's just unflattering and dismissive of anything that's sentimental in Hollywood. And we don't know who that character was based on in Kim's, but we have ideas.
You have some theories.
Maybe someone you've mentioned, maybe not.
Right. Well, Mr. Kim's is being distributed by Draft House Films. I'm not going to say much more, but there's other connections there in the film, and it makes sense at the end that Draft House might be the distributor for your film. We'll leave it at that. There's just a lot of special moments throughout the film. Let's put it that way. And it's opening in New York on April 5th, which is, holy crap, it's April 1st already. Look at that. So
April
Friday.
1st. Maybe this whole thing isn't real. It's April Fool's Day.
It's true. It might be just.
You're speaking to us on a very significant day.
And that is because?
That is because, as you see at the end of the movie, which it happened on April Fool's Day.
Oh.
April 1st. The arrival and return of Kim's Video, right?
All right. Now
It
you're
happened.
giving away. Don't give away too much.
But it's April 1st. It was April Fool's Day.
Oh.
Announcement came out. Most people dismissed it and said, this is a very cruel prank. Please don't do this again. Kim's video is gone forever. It will never
Yeah.
come out. That was in the year
Oh.
2022.
Or two?
Yeah.
Wow, is it
Oh,
really?
okay. Not that
2-year
long
anniversary.
ago. 2 years to the day. That's fantastic. Well, um, the film will open Friday in New York City at the Quad Cinema, which was only maybe a 10-minute walk from the original location, Mr. Kim's, give or take. It is also opening in LA at the, I'm going to guess, I'm going to pull a Lemley out of my pocket. No, not a Lemley.
Come on,
That
Vidiots.
too. It's on Lemley and Vidiots.
It is Lemley.
Oh.
You're right. But Vidiots, I mean, that's what's significant with the video store, right?
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, this is a way to uniquely put a film out. I mean, it really is. You can have some fun with that and be creative, right? And then it will go nationwide a week from Friday on the 12th of April. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to let you guys get back to it, and I apologize. I was a little bit foggy this morning. I don't typically do this so early, but we have to accommodate your world travels. You know, I mean,
You did great. You had the very sweet sort of the stuttering and clarifying yourself. That's a nice morning kind of energy.
that describes my whole interviewing style in a nutshell. Thank you.
I love it.
Adam, if you get a chance to speak to Mr. Kim, you should ask him not only about his regret, but also how he has a continuous relationship with Salimi. So he hasn't given up, and neither has Salimi. I'll put it that.
I mean, it's quite clear. I mean, what Dave's referring to is the town's leaders and their whole complicated relationship to this archive of videos, and just like how these are folksy people, but you also get a sense that they have other things that they're doing there. Here comes the stammering. I'm trying to be very delicate and diplomatic about it.
Yeah, they have other collaborations.
That they're not crooks, but this is Italian people. I have a great love of the Italian people because, of my own personal reasons. And, so I understand. And, but they're there. They're there with, writing it through, right to the move of the archive and everything else. Again, I'm careful about how I describe everything because I want people to, enjoy the movie as it unfolds. Then there's a lot unfolding throughout. So it's pretty fun to watch. And but yes, right, these guys are it's apparent what you're saying.
There's a continuous creative collaboration between Mr. Kim and
town
Salimi.
of-
And we'll just leave it at that, and then hopefully it may even spark a few people to fly out there to enjoy the new collaboration.
Yeah, the only card I can pull okay, that's a cliffhanger. This is the only one I have sitting around here right now.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
But
very cool.
I don't have
that's your membership card.
Well, it's expired, but yeah.
You gotta get a new one.
Well, and then we're what was I going to tell you? I'll see you this summer.
Were you a member of Kim's?
I must have been, although I don't know. Maybe I lived a few blocks away on 15th Street, and I'm wondering because I remember going in and getting movies. I don't know, but could you just do that? You had to be a member, right?
If you did the rental, you had to be a member.
All right.
Unless you were exchanging other items for the movies, then you didn't really have to be a member.
No, I wouldn't have exchanged anything. I'm not an exchanger. It's not. I avoid exchanging at all costs. So, so I don't know. We'll have to look again in the back in the art. Are those? Is that? I mean, that list must exist, right? How else? No. How do you prove that you're a member?
Well, Mr. Kim sent the hard drive and the computer over with the collection of movies.
Oh boy!
And that hard drive and computer either disappeared or never made it.
You know where it is? Probably. This is my guess. This is all projection.
Sure. Conjecture.
That's right.
Right.
I think it's with the stolen porn that's they stole someone stole all the porn, left the cases, but stole the discs of this, ragtag collection of porn. I think they also have the list, and maybe they're in the process of contacting everyone. So we all have to maybe wait for that person to get to our name on the list.
What an optimistic, lovely woman you are. That's fantastic. I love you both. You're I'm glad to be reconnected. Yeah, I do hope to see you this summer in August.
Yeah, we'd love that.
That'd be great.
Well, thank you. We'll
Yeah,
see you
thank
in
you.
August for sure.
All right, man. Okay. Well,
Thanks
safe
for the
travels
call.
and nothing but the best of luck with the film.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, we need
Go
it.
see it in the cinema.
Exactly. This is for all this is a cinephile movie. I mean, that's all we have to say.
Yeah, go see it in the cinema and bootleg it.
Exactly.
And we don't have VHS camera. That's right.
Exactly. I was tempted to do that myself as we were, but then I realized I'm already recording it, and that would be silly. All right.
All right.
Thank
Good
you.
day.
Get on with the rest of your afternoon and evening in Marseille.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
The mean streets of Marseille. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See
All
ya.
right. Bye-bye, guys. How you doing?
It's all right. How are you, Adam?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, very good. It's
What's going on here?
Oh well, I mean, I just enjoyed the documentary. I knew the filmmakers from many years ago.
Yeah, right.
And so it was such a pleasure to be able to talk to them about your store and your enterprise and this whole story. I remember reading some years ago in that big Village Voice article, and I've been wondering what been going on. First, I have a first question for you though: is what were you doing to keep busy? Mainly, what was going on in your life between the 2008 when when the collection was shipped over to Sicily, and in the last year or two, what has preoccupied you for most of that time?
It's a lot of things happening. A lot of things. When I closed my last store at Mondo, 2009 January. I had the pretty loyal staffs and employee who were working in Kim's over 15 years. I opened up one no rental video, but video sales and video and music sale stores on First Avenue and 7th Street. About 3,000 square feet, much small scale, and the full basement, pretty good too. I opened it up, and the fully stocked store with about 18 employee. I let them operate for their living, and then I left it to the Mexico to start the new business in Mexico.
Oh.
And I did in Mexico the selling the LED based the street lamp to the government, and some big company, all product made from Korea. So I spent the most of the time in Korea and Mexico.
Oh wow, okay.
So until First Avenue, the rent after 5 years, opened 2009, and the 2014, the landlady increased the rent. That was really unaffordable.
Yeah.
And then loss was greater every year.
Right.
So I subsidized for the 5 years that the store operation expenses, and really couldn't hold it.
Wow.
So 2014, finally decided to close. that location as well. So
Mm-hmm.
so there was a between 2009 and 2014, I was here and there and almost the Simpsons like
Right.
everywhere. And
Yeah.
2015, I was in Sicily. Actually, from 2009, I was invited from Mayor Scarby to Sicily the few time, and we discussed about the promotion of Kim's collection there. With the also they had their own plans and program to promote their town. So I helped them. I helped them a lot. So I went there about twice a year, and we had a lot of discussion. And it seems to be 2009 and 2010, first 2 years, it seems to be very everything the moving forward. And I thought that we could really we could the reboost of the new I call it neo Renaissance from Salemi, Sicily. Actually, I prepared a lot of concepts and the programs and provide them, and we discuss a lot about those too. And when time comes, like 2004, all of a sudden the allegation of the mafia related the crime he was investigated by the prosecutor from Rome, and all those the plan and program just disappear all of a sudden, and I was very disappointed.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And then even after that, I revisited there, and I discussed with the new mayor. Mayor was sent by the Rome, the federal government. He was temporarily stay there, but he stayed. I thought he stayed only 1 year, but he stayed like more than 3 years there. So I try to find a way to get the Kim's catalog collection more utilizing with the other publics. And you know, I wasn't good enough to push everything's the making through. So I try and almost I gave up. And then all of a sudden that the David Redmon involved, Ashley Sabin and David, and these two guys really surprised me. And there's a big ally. These two guys is really big ally. I was almost giving up. All of a sudden,
I know.
two
Oh,
guys.
yeah. It's interesting that it took the making of a film,
Yeah,
to apply enough pressure and attention on what was going on there,
right.
And you could leverage it into making changes, right? It would
Right.
took making a film, and then of course within that, we don't want to give away too much, but there
Yeah.
was kind of a making of a movie in within it, but we don't want to give away too much of the plot. But let's go back.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Isn't that
So what were
clever?
you going to say?
Isn't that
Yeah.
clever?
Very clever. Yeah.
This is the reason why the Sundance categorized his film in the
The film premiered at Sundance.
the next film. They call it his film into the category of the next film, which is
right. The next category, right? Yeah, it was like a genre, almost a genre film.
Yeah.
The documentary that David and Ashley made.
Right.
Yeah, but it's just pretty amazing story. It just keeps growing and growing into directions that one could never predict, this whole story. But when going back to let's say prior to when you were trying to find I guess people or towns to bid, right, on um taking on the collection back, I guess back in 2000, the mid 2000s to about 2000, of course, right? The collection went in around 2008 to
No,
Salemi.
no, 2009 in January.
Okay. And
2009
the collection
January.
shipped over there.
Yeah, they arrived the January 5th, 2009.
That's when the collection went to
No,
Salemi.
it arrived
Okay.
January 7, 2009.
Understood. So, but leading up to that, when you it was you, I guess, who selected, right, the town. They made a bid and you accepted it, and then this everything went there. During that process, did you have any? What was that process? Let me just ask you, rather than put words in your mouth. But what was that process like? What were you hoping for, and what did you? Were you, yeah, I mean, what were you hoping for? What went into the choice of Salemi as the place to send the collection? I'm curious.
Well, the three things pretty affect for my the decision made out of. Number one, the host, Scarvi and Toscani. These two pretty strong, the cultural, the European icons, pretty iconic to me. So I had pretty strong trust based on these two guys, the cultural background. That was number one. And number two, I was very inspired and very impressed about this town called the Salemi. Salemi got 1964. They got very big earthquake. It hit this town.
Right.
And the town was, I saw even from pictures only, but it looked really beautiful town. And every street and every houses and everything, it looks like a handcraft made out of, it's
Wow.
so artsy and so beautiful. So that also made me the decision pretty easy. Yeah, this town definitely with the Kim's collection to promote this town so soon. I had a dream like everybody else. I want a lot of New Yorker visit this town and having fun and the recap of Kim's video collection. That'll be really awesome. So I was dreaming that could be happen. So I had a pretty strong belief.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, that you just saw a jewel with this town, and that maybe that this collection might help to restore the jewel that was this town
Correct.
once.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. So switching gears a little bit, I don't know how much time we have, so I just have a few questions. I started this podcast to support and to kind of champion independent film.
Mhm.
The kinds of films you might even have in the Kim's video collection, and I started it in the early part of the last decade, around 2010 or so. I started to, and I met filmmakers like Alex Ross Perry and Sean Price Williams, who was a cinematographer. Now he's directing movies. He started, right, and also Robert Green. These are guys that just a few of the filmmakers that worked at Kim's Video as clerks, right?
Yeah.
Did you?
These guys.
What did you make of these guys back then, 20 years ago? What did you make of them? What you probably had a manager hire them? I'm guessing you didn't hire them. Maybe you met them, but you approved of them.
Actually,
Maybe I don't know what
Sean and Alex that yeah, especially these two guys that were working in the Mondo Kim, the way I spend most of the time there. So I saw them pretty frequently there. And
Right.
yeah, they were hired by the manager. But I ended up meeting them almost every day because
what was
I
your
knew.
impression of these guys?
Well, as I said, the most of Kim's staffs and the the clerks, they were almost professional. Most cases, they are very well knowledge in film and music. And I knew this, and also even back in 1990 and 1980, many of my staffs were actually independent filmmaker. I'm not sure that you remember like Nick Jett, very good friend of mine, and Richard Curran, also a very good friend of mine. You know, the Kims try to promote those guys and support always. So there was a very big
Oh, wow.
part of it. So really, the most Kim's steps were they were almost like pretty professional, the filmmakers and musicians. All they need is some good support and a good stage where they can meet their audiences. You know, there was a role that I always want to play through Kim's video and music.
Right. Well, one could suggest that you played a small role or a role in these guys, this generation of filmmakers who are now making films that are going out into the world. That you played a role in that, or their history with Kim's video played a role in that because they got another level of film history during their years working there.
Yeah, I appreciate you say that. Yeah, there was the purpose. Actually, there was actually the strategy, the different way to grow the Kim's video, in terms of business growing strategy. That Kim's video is not just waiting for the customer to sell the videos and music, but also we want to be the interactively involved with the provider, not just to our consumer. So Kim's video did that. At some point those roles to play, and that's why a lot of Kim's video followers still remember, and they appreciate it for, which is still really thankful, you know. And that was my way, you know. I was very stubborn, and I got a lot of challenge, you know, internally and externally. They wanna change my style and my way, and they and sometimes that even internally the making a lot of hard time and making very difficult for my way of the building up my business. But I was quite stubborn. This is the reason why a lot of my staff still call me like he's like a mafia and pretty tough guys, and yeah.
Well,
But
you come from obviously from a business background, but it seemed like being the owner. For those who don't know, you started with the dry cleaning business, and then you sold some videos, or rather, were renting some videos out of there, and then it took off so well that you opened the store, which became I would say a iconic institution in Lower New York City, but you come from a business background, but maybe over the years you became a film. I don't know. Well, you had some film background, didn't you? Actually, didn't you
yeah,
have
I
some?
did.
You
Yeah.
did, right? You were a film lover as a young person, right? You discovered the European filmmakers and.
Yeah, I went to film school. I made the
Oh, you.
films. I
Oh,
produced films. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
I have.
All right.
Yeah,
I stand corrected.
I'm not just a businessman.
Right.
So this is the
Okay.
reason why that I know the what the filmmakers needed, and they
Right.
wanted. So that really pretty helpful. Um,
Hmm.
the incorporate their wishes into my business operation style. So yeah.
What did you make of the last question for you? I want to give you some of your day back to you today. Let you go in a little bit, but what was your feeling? What's your feeling about the film? the documentary? What's David and Ashley's documentary?
I
What's your
I think this guy's also this guy's very brave. Number one, without my permission.
right? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they just no matter what, they just started. That's the I highly admire very much so.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
I think their plot, the film plot is that's unbelievable. Um, very surprising. And conventionally, we think that documentary has no fun, but as you saw this film has a full of a fun and the laughter. So
Absolutely.
yeah, the David and Ashley, yeah, they did a really super job.
So they
From
have your full
beginning,
endorsement.
yeah, from beginning, I told them that I will not involve, even if you ask me how and how to shape this film style. But I told them that, look, this is your work, and you got to get your 100% credit. And I don't want to involve it. I don't want to tell you what to do, and I'm not going to tell you what I like or what I don't like. So you got to fully take the 100% credit and 100% responsibility. That's how we started from beginning with. So that was my first comment when I decided to go with these guys.
That's great. My favorite moment in the film may be where you're at your New Jersey home, and they divulge what they're up to. It's a great moment, and you are
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah, I was.
surprised. Yeah,
You
one
remember
can
I
tell
said there's a really
that wasn't acting,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No, no, no. You don't cut me out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm so thrilled to meet you. I was living on 15th Street and 3rd Avenue those years, and was a customer and was in the store many times over the years. And
You go, Adam.
yes,
The I have I have a treatment. I have a treatment of based on actually my life story
Mhm.
from at age 8 till now. I want to develop into the feature project, and yeah, if you can spread it out, that any producers interested in
Sure.
developing this project, I really appreciate if you can find somebody, and I'm willing to
Happily.
send a treatment for the review. Right?
Happily,
Yeah.
happily, I happily help in any way I can. I certainly know my share of producers, and um, let me, just share your share. Caitlin will share, my contact information with you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And but I thank you for your time today, and I'm
Okay.
going to help as much as I can with this documentary, Kim's video. It's out as we speak on this Wednesday, the 3rd of April. It comes out in New York and LA on Friday, I believe, or maybe
Yeah, that's right. Friday.
right at the Quad Cinema in New York City. So I assume you'll be there, and you'll be meeting very probably happy audiences there that are going to want to talk to you, I'm sure, and
Yeah,
meet you.
I am very thrilled too. Yeah,
Yeah.
to meet them.
Have a great time.
All right.
Have a great
Thanks,
time.
Adam.